what are your power rankings entering spring training exhibition games?
Am I going first?
Yeah, you're going first because you're going first, and then you're kind of going last for you ever.
Yeah, okay, first
so
you late.
Obviously, we all have the Dodgers 1, so we can skip that one. Now, I went full Kratz homer with Philly because that guy on the right, I think, is in for a big year, and I think their pitching is really good. Now, originally, when I did this list, I only had a top 5, and then Scott had to change it to 10. So I had Atlanta, Arizona, the Yankees as the first American League team. Yes, the Mets are 6th. That means they're going to finish 3rd, Kratz. Way to go. And then I had to reach for some American League teams because I'm like, man, it's National League heavy. I think Boston, Baltimore, the AL East is stacked. Texas down there at the bottom. And then, listen, I'll be honest. I think the A's are going to compete for a playoff spot this year. That's why I have them as a sleeper pick. The ATHs are my sleeper pick to compete for a playoff spot this year. Nice. And if you notice, what team is missing in that first top 10 that people are picking to be really kind of good this year?
Kratz?
Astros?
Nope.
No.
NL Central. No,
the Cubs?
Oh, the Mets are right there in 6th. The Cubs.
You know why? Because I'll never pick the Cubs to win anything, so they're never going to be any.
Well, this is another reason why AJ won't be part of power rankings, because what if the Cubs are by far the most dominant team in the first month of the season and they're just still outside of his top 10?
Yeah, so, they might make a sleeper pick. That's it. The best chance they got.
Well, all right. You've been eliminated. Good job. This is the first and only time you'll see AJ's power rankings. Kratz, go explain.
Woo. If you ain't first, you last. Well, I like the fact that we're kind of in cahoots here. I bumped the Yankees up a little bit more. Arizona, we're really close there. I am a huge, huge Orioles fan. They had the 3rd best record in the American League last year. With the second half that they had, I think they're more of that first half team, so I have to lean on that. My 3rd place team in the National League East. No Mets fans have ever heard me say that, so make sure they're there. I honestly thought about putting the Rangers ahead of the Mets because I think the Rangers are going to do some really, really special things. And I think the Reds win the NL Central. So that's why I don't have AJ's Cubs in my top 10, because I think the Reds are going to win the NL Central. I honestly think the Brewers might come in 2nd and the Cubs in 3rd. But we'll see, because I'm a 3rd place guy. Seattle is going to make huge, huge strides with another one of AJ's favorite friends taking over the helm. They're just going to have to learn to make contact. And this pitching staff, they're going to stay together. So Seattle's there. And as I don't have any teams from the Central on here, from the AL Central, so my sleeper pick is KC. I think KC wins because another year older, another year wiser of MVP candidate Bobby Witt, and they added a little bit more to that lineup when I don't know that the lineup needed a ton more, in a sense of like they weren't going to go get an Anthony Santander. Oh, wait, they did offer him. That would have been a huge pickup. But getting Jonathan India will be bigger than I think people think, and this pitching staff knows how to get outs.
I mean, some Brewers fans.
How can you pick KC? They made the playoffs last year. They're not a sleeper pick. They made the postseason last year. This is like bold take. Bold take. The Dodgers have the best chance to win the World Series. They're not a sleeper pick. They made the playoffs last year.
Hang on. Let me see what sleeper pick means. Oh, it means whatever the heck I think it means. It was just somebody from not in the top 10. So maybe it's more of an honorable mention pick.
Then you should have said that instead of sleeper pick. The Scott's sleeper pick is going to be
sleeper hold.
That's fine. Scott's sleeper pick is going to be the Mariners. We already know it. Go ahead, Scott.
The Mariners don't touch anything. I'm not talking about them for anything here. And I'm curious, Kratz. I mean, the Mariners are better than the Padres right now?
I have them better than the Padres.
Okay.
They have the best. They have the most perceived value from the starting rotation, second most from the bullpen. So they're doubling down on the fact that they can just pitch. I'm not saying they're scoring runs. I'm saying it's going to be enough.
Okay, you need to score runs to win, but okay, that's fine. Let's go to my top 10, please. We all are on the same page right now. The Dodgers, and I do think the Phillies have a deep starting rotation, still a very strong lineup. I actually really like the thought of Trey Turner batting leadoff for the Phillies. I do think they need to switch it up and have a pest at the top. And I think it'll reignite Turner too. So he seems excited about it. So Phillies, and this is entering the season. Obviously things change here. I got Mets 3 right now based on obviously the Soto addition. Bullpen gets better. Yes, I know there are question marks with the rotation, but I blasted that last year and I was wrong. I got the Diamondbacks 4. Diamondbacks were a fringe playoff team last year. They had the best offense in baseball without Corbin Carroll being himself for most of that time. I think he'll be more of the 2023 version. And they added Corbin Burns. I've got Atlanta 5. That can tick up when Strider and Acuna come back. I want to see them come back. I've got the Padres 6. They were the second best team in baseball last year to the Dodgers. So I know they lost some pieces, but they didn't lose that many pieces, and they did add Pivetta to the rotation. I've got the Yankees 7. That's my first American League team because the American League is far worse than the National League for a second consecutive year. That is not disputable. The Tigers 8, an emerging team, did well in the playoffs, added some pieces in the offseason. Cleveland did win the division last year, pretty close to the same team. I hate them losing Naylor. But for now, I'm going to keep them in here. And then I do like what Texas did in the offseason. So I kind of finish with those AL clubs. Go ahead, make fun of me. What do you want? What am I missing? Oh, and my sleeper pick, Cincinnati, because they didn't make the playoffs last year. That definitely qualifies as a sleeper pick. Okay. The sleeper pick isn't, hey, let's find a super crappy team and say that they should be part of the top 10. It's just like, hey, here's a team that doesn't get a lot of love, a lot of respect, but I'm thinking about you. That's all. All right. What did I do wrong, AJ?
No, I mean, I can't really. I mean, San Diego, I think you have too high because I'm just worried about their starting pitching. I think that, no Musgrove. I don't know if Cease is going to be there. What are we going to get out of almost a 40-year-old Yu Darvish at this point? I just don't know that San Diego is that high. And plus, they lost a lot of offensive firepower and Profar. And so I don't know. I think they're a little bit high. I thought about Detroit and I thought about Cleveland in the top 10, but I'm not sold on any of those teams because if Detroit would have got Bregman, I would have bumped them up. But the rest of the list is pretty good, Scott. I feel like, you pretty much nailed it. I get the Cincinnati sleeper pick with Tito. Nick Lodolo, according to Kratz, is going to win the Cy Young. So, I mean, yeah, I get that pick.
And for me with San Diego, quick response on San Diego. Cool. If they trade Cease, I'll knock them down, but I just can't do that yet.
Cease and King have to have mega years for San Diego because of that rotation. For me, my problem is I think you got to have – I have no problem with Detroit and Cleveland up there. You got to have Texas above them. I truly believe Texas is a better team than both of those teams.
That's fine, but that's nitpicking. So if that's the biggest criticism you have for me, I included them in my top 10. They didn't make the playoffs last year. They did have guys with down seasons and injuries. Starting staff could have a lot of injuries, a lot of injury-prone guys there. So I just want to see them prove it a little bit, and then I can bump them up. Cleveland and Detroit, obviously, both made the playoffs last year and were both pretty successful in the playoffs. So that's why I do factor in what they did last year when we were doing spring training power rankings.
Did Cleveland upgrade a ton? Did Cleveland upgrade? I know they made it.
You could make a case that they downgraded. Andres Gimenez gone, Josh Naylor gone. So I don't feel great about Cleveland, but I felt like out of respect, how much damage they did last year in the regular season, kind of running away, right, towards the end with the division, that I had to give this to them. And they made it to the ALCS. So sure, the bullpen might collapse, but if it doesn't and it looks like the way it does, I mean, it's an historically good bullpen. So I don't know. I think I feel good for now, but let us know what you think. What do you like? What do you not like from what we did?